What's up, guys? We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
JamesShoe.com,
and we are here for the premiere
of Big Eyes, Tim Burton's new film. It is Christmas week. It is
Amy Adams.
Are you feeling the holiday cheer? Or are you feeling like the Grinch?
You know, dude, I'm gonna tell you, I'm feeling the holiday cheer.
Yeah.
Pearly White's smile so big you could put a banana in my mouth sideways.
Wonderful.
No, I'm jacked up because
I agree, because not only is it Christmas, not only do you get gifts, not only are you eating panettone, not only are you eating all that good stuff.
What is panettone?
Panettone is an Italian dessert that comes out around Christmas. It's a seasonal type thing.
Can't you had that?
If I explain it to you,
If
I explain it to you, you'll tell me, oh, a fruitcake, but it's not a fruitcake. A lot of people just assume it's a fruitcake, but it's not. If you don't know what a panettone is, please look it up.
Moving on.
Moving forward. And you know what else? Besides the Christmas, besides the stockings, besides the presents, it's one of the best times for movies.
Yes, because we get to be here together.
Absolutely.
Number one. But number two, the Oscar push is happening.
Yep, Oscar.
And so they just start throwing all these movies at us. Bum, 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 bum,
in the last 3 months, I've seen some of the most amazing movies I've seen probably in the past 5 years.
Isn't that amazing?
It's incredible.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's been a wonderful year.
Killing it. Ben Affleck. Rosamund Pike. Killing it.
Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund.
The Theory of Everything. Felicity Jones and Eddie Redmayne. Incredible Foxcatcher. Which
I'm watching that tonight. Steve Carell. Bum, bum, bum.
Tim Burton. How do you feel about Tim Burton? What are your thoughts on the man?
Well, my first impression of Tim Burton was from Batman. So for me, loved it. And then he came out with his the skeleton Nightmare Before Christmas. Thank you.
Which he did not direct, but wrote and produced.
Thank you. And it looks like his world.
Yeah.
And then he also did Alice in Wonderland. And then he had a bunch of other stuff, like beyond a lot. And I just literally skipped 4 decades, but. Yeah, I don't have any problems with them, and Big Eyes looks good, true story, and Amy Adams, I like her because of, she's my love Lois Lane, man.
She's a great actress.
I mean, she's Lois Lane, American Hustle most recently, after that. The Fighter, I mean, you know?
It's great.
Talk to me, man.
Tim Burton is a director that I also have really loved. However, Tim Burton, I can classify in eras now, because in the let's start off with Batman, 1989. We have, you know, this movie that people, you know, is like one of the first, not necessarily the first, but one of the first, you know, comic book movies that people were excited for. Batman was all over the place,
and
people went in droves, and it was awesome.
Killed it.
He came out with Beetlejuice and did all these other fun things. Then he kind of went into a little more of his world, where he would create Edward Scissorhands, and my favorite film,
Johnny Depp,
which is at the end of the 90s, called Ed Wood. And Ed Wood, he teamed up with 2 writers, Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski. If I mispronounced that, I apologize, but the man is very, very talented. He would make Ed Wood, which is my favorite film, because it really kind of talked about an artist. If you don't know who Ed Wood is, he's one of the famed worst directors of all time. He made a film called, you know, that has been played all the time, Plan 9 from Outer Space. And he kind of goes on to his career where he starts making, where people start criticizing him for being repetitive, me included. You know, Dark Shadows, I mean, he kind of got in this real area where he cared more about visual style and working with Johnny Depp and his wife. Though some would disagree with me, I feel like the last 10 years have been very, very weak from him, and I'm not seeing anything too impressive. I mean, I liked Frankenweenie. I'm sure there's another one that I kind of liked in there, but overall, his work has definitely declined in my opinion, because he's concentrated, and instead of being an innovative director that he once was, he started staying put when all the other directors surpassed him. Now he has Big Eyes, which is very, very different than anything that he's done in the past decade. It's a film about an artist, similar to Ed Wood. It is written by the same people who joined him, Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski. And he's not doing something in his world. It's about real people, a real story, and it talks about the Keane paintings. And if you aren't familiar with the Keane paintings, they were a series of paintings in the 50s and 60s that had the name Keane written on them, and the world thought it was by the artist Walter Keane. Lo and behold, did they only find out after his wife divorced him and told the world that they were actually her works, and he's been, you know, plagiarizing her stuff since the beginning. So familiar with the story, I'm very excited to see it. I love Amy Adams. I even love Christoph Waltz even more. I'm excited to see him do something different and work with another director. Yeah.
Well, how long is the movie?
About 2 hours.
2 hours. We can see how the film is.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Alright guys, so we just got out of Big Eyes.
Little drummer boy? Sorry, I'm off topic. Tim Burton's Big Eyes. Tim Burton's best film in years. Easily best way to put it. He goes back to telling a story about people, about emotions. He's not distracted by making things look dark and evil and messing with his wife and Johnny Depp's hair. He's not worried about that here. He's worried about the story, he's worried about the people. Though, I think he doesn't go as deep as he can with these characters. I think he does a great job. I think the teaming of him and the writers from Ed Wood and this film really, really helped that. He really cared about something. Unfortunately, I don't think people are going to go see it as much as they would go see it if it looked like a regular Tim Burton film or it was advertised like a regular Burton film. I don't know about you, I don't think I've seen this film advertised very much.
No.
Especially opposed to Unbroken and Into the Woods, especially the film that it's coming out against. Christoph Waltz. A lot of people have kind of said that he's playing, the same villainous character.
Just the bad guy.
Just the bad guy, which he plays in this film, but very much different. In Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, though he's not a villain in Django Unchained, he plays a very confident, very charismatic, but very, very cunning man. Someone that could do great justice or great damage, if you will, because you could argue if what he does in Django is injustice. Moving on into Horrible Bosses 2. He's a villain, but a very just goofy kind of over-the-top villain. This film, I think he does very well. Though he does play a villain, he plays it like a coward. Walter Keane, as depicted in the film, is a con man, at best. Convinces this woman to fall in love with him, and if he did love her or not, you could argue, but he wanted her work. He wanted to be known for that, and he threatens her, he forces her into this lifestyle, but he never really raises a hand to her. There is one part where he kind of blows up after being drunk, but he kind of just uses mind control. But all in all, you kind of realize that he's just a coward. He just wants to be known for something. It's all about his very, very small ego, and I think that's really great for him. I think Amy Adams does a wonderful job. I think she delivers. I love that Tim Burton kind of goes back to his roots in this film. For instance, in the very beginning of the film, we see suburbia. The one place that Tim Burton has made look so funny, especially in Ed Wood's, where every house looks the same, every lawn, everything, it just looks boring suburbia. That reappears in this film. In Edward Scissorhands, he kind of also talks about, the gender stereotypes of a household, where, in Edward Scissorhands it's not so apparent, but, all the women are waiting for their husbands, and at 5 o'clock they all come home from work, they all run home to cook. In this film, we are drowned by that kind of theme that men run households and women are just supposed to do this, and that. And the wonderful thing about this film is that Amy Adams and her character, Margaret Keane, who's still alive and consultant on this film, breaks that barrier. And even a priest at one point tells her, well, if he's the man, he knows what's best on the household, he's the head of the household. She breaks that. She has to become the leader. She has to become, the money earner, and she has to be able to find herself and give herself a voice in a time when women didn't have that much of a voice, or at least they did, they just weren't allowed to express it or had trouble expressing it. I really, really love that about her character. I really love that this film had heart and really had something to say, and that's why it was one of my favorite films of the year.
Is Amy Adams going to get another nomination?
I don't think this film's going to earn any nominations, unfortunately. I don't think it earned anything from the Golden Globes. I'm pretty sure it didn't. I don't think it'll earn anything from the Academy Awards, though I think that production design and making this world look like the 50s and 60s was done very well. Unfortunately, it's just coming at a time where there's a lot of great films and a lot of films that are just a lot more demographic to the Oscars. But yeah, some would agree that Into the Woods might be nominated for some stuff. But I think Big Eyes is well more deserved film. But unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to be able to go in the year. But I hope this is the beginning of Tim Burton really doing something different.
Did you see the Tim Burton film, The Death of Superman, with Nick Cage?
No, I did not.
Well, he was going to make one. You've seen the photos of the Superman suit?
Yes.
Holy crap!
Do you know who had the Superman script before Tim Burton took it on?
For that particular one? It wasn't Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith was Superman Reborn.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so anyway, so if you check out these go to Google, put in Tim Burton's Death of Superman, or whatever it was going to be called. Holy crap, thank God they didn't come out. It would be, actually, there's a part of me that just wish they would have came out of it, just because it just looked insane.
If you want a great story about how all that kind of, I guess this is a different Superman, but if you just want a funny story, Just YouTube Kevin Smith talk about Superman. It's really, really funny.
Yeah, about the spider?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the spider?
Yeah, with the Wild Wild West.
Yeah. And then Wild Wild West, we got a giant spider.
But to kind of go away from that, Big Eyes is a movie I really recommend people saying. I think it has a lot of heart. I think it has a great theme, and I think it really, really does well. And I think Tim Burton is on a roll of doing something good and going back to the real artist that he has. Very much like Ed Wood. The two writers, like I said, have worked on this film, and Ed Wood. And I think that if you loved Ed Wood like I did, you'll really love this movie.
ChaseTheCinema.com/Big
Eyes.
And then you can get the full-on review, and you can see how everyone did in that film.
Yep.
We have one more film we're gonna see tonight.
Yeah, The Imitation Game.
Keira Knightley.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Smog
himself. All right, so we'll be back, guys, and Film Lovers website.
Thanks.